Hey guys, it's Iz, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact lore video. So finally I'm going to get around to talking about the latest act of the Archon quest, as well as the story of Ai, or the Raiden Shogun, in her personal side quest. And like always, I hope you guys had enough time to get through the quest on your own, but if you haven't finished the quest of the Omnipresence over Mortals, then consider this a warning for spoilers up ahead. You have been warned, so let's get into it. Where we started off, we were going to meet Sangonomiya Kokuni in Sangonomiya, and so we make our way there, sailing, and when we arrive, we see a beautiful scenery with giant pink shells surrounding the shrine in the middle. We head over to Kokumi to discuss the next action we should take when it comes to the war. She tells us to head over where the Swordfish 2 are stationed since you will be their new captain, and as part of initiation for them, you help them deal with the Ronin. All together. 2 birds with 1 stone, or I guess in this case fish? 2 fish with 1 stone, is that a thing? Anyways, after you deal with the issue of the Ronin, you do some intel gathering looking for some ruins to further your personal goal to find your brother, or at least what may have happened during the Archon War to give you some clues. While there, you notice Teppei is there as well, but he's been coughing and wheezing. This doesn't make sense since he's been getting stronger but his health is declining. There must be something wrong. After checking the ruins, you head back into Sangonomiya, where you find Goro and Kokumi talking about their soldiers and how they've been losing their life force, and they started experiencing accelerated aging. And that's when you decide to check on Teppei. And this is when you see his hair is grayed, and you asked him what was the thing that was given to him. What was his secret weapon? He shows you what it was, and you see that it was a delusion. And at that moment, after you talk to him, Teppei passes away.
Hey, would you do something for me? When our uniforms are ready, grab mine for me. Bring it back here, and we can change together. What's that look for? Don't worry, partner. As soon as I've rested up, I'll be right as rain. Right as rain, I tell you. As soon as I've rested up.
Teppei!
After what happened, you were filled with anger and rushed to take care of the Fatui hideout that had been manufacturing delusions using crystal marrow. And at the end of the line, who else would have been there but Scaramouche the Balladeer?
That's it. Just like that. Embrace the anger. Embrace it! The wrath of the gods fills his factory, and it feeds on your anger.
What's happening? Get up!
Repeat after me. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Come on.
After being saved by Yai, you talk with her about the current situation where she convinces us that if we help her help Ai, then we would be able to stop everything and fix everything. And so we head over to train to fight Ai again in the plain of Euthymia. After this, we talk to Sarah about what was happening under her nose and that the Kujou clan has been colluding with the Fatui. Fair enough, if we can gather proof, then it's all in the bag. So we get help from the Kamisato clan and Sayu the ninja, and we gather enough evidence that we need. All we need to do is set off some fireworks, and nice, we're done. We show Sarah the evidence and we let her see the truth, which is when she rushes to confront the head of the Tenryou Commission. But right before leaving, Yai also gives us an omamori to use when we are in need of her help.
Stop! Sarah, have you gone insane? How dare you disregard my orders?
Master,
Go on, ask him! Don't let him intimidate you!
Master Takayuki, I've seen the report to the throne and the letter to the Fatui. Please, tell me why.
So this is how my documents went missing from headquarters. You stole them.
Should I take your words to mean that these documents were not forgeries? They were really penned by your own hand. Please tell me, Master. I need to know. Has the Tenryou Commission really betrayed the Shogunate?
Yes, I have dealings with the Fatui, and yes, the report you saw was penned by my hand.
He just came right out and admitted it.
The diplomats from Snezhnaya promised a very generous reward indeed, and all they requested of me in return was to see that the Vision Hunt decree is upheld. For too long, the Kujou clan's position has been coveted by so many. There is no shortage of clans who would tear us down at the first opportunity. So, when the chance arose to gain the backing of another powerful nation and crack down on our enemies at the same time, it appeared to me to be an excellent deal. I simply saw no need to inform you, Sarah.
But you worship the Shogun. How can you betray her after all this time and act like it's nothing?
Betrayal? How can you call this a betrayal? The Fatui may think they are using me, but the reverse is true. What could they possibly hope to achieve? When the lightning strikes in Inazuma, they shall fall to their knees and tremble, paralyzed by fear and trepidation. After all, none can contend with the supreme power of the almighty Raiden Shogun and the Muso no Hitotachi!
But Master, what about loyalty? Ever since I was adopted by the Kujou clan, you taught me the importance of loyalty from servants to their superiors. But it's clear to me now that you wanted my loyalties to stop with the Kujou clan. So you were scared that I would betray you one day? You hypocrite! Preaching about virtue just to mask your own wretched selfishness! I've doubted the Vision Hunt decree in the past. I asked myself, is this truly the correct thing to do? Even though it goes against what I know in my heart to be right. But I chose to obey the Shogun. For as long as she leads the way, who among us is qualified to judge between right and wrong when we have not yet reached the end of the path? But now I realize that the path of eternity is one without end, while this path, it has long since been defiled by your selfish ways. So I'm going to tell the Shogun the truth about all this. If nothing else, my conscience will be clear.
And this is where things get a lot more spicy. We barge into Tenshukaku only to find the Raiden talking with Senora, and Sarah is on the floor unconscious.
Before you go saying something you can't take back, remember that you're Inazuma's most wanted criminal. I suggest you consider your circumstances very carefully. Charging into Tenshukaku uninvited and lecturing me in front of the Shogun wasn't the brightest move. Don't you think it's time you stopped digging? I'm not sure you realize quite how much distance there is between us, both in status and in strength.
I challenge you to a duel before the throne.
Proceed. My, you're full of surprises today. So you've learned to make the law of the land work for you too, I'll admit that I never expected to be in a situation where the two of us were on equal footing. You are aware that the loser must die. Are you sure this is what you want?
Traveler!
Then I will deign to share this last dance with you. Till death do us part!
You fight Senora with her cryo delusion and then followed by her pyro vision, and even with that, you beat her and then this happens as well.
So strong, but how? I am a Snezhnayan diplomat. You know what happens if you lay a finger on me. I swear, if you strike me, I will make sure... The Fatui will make sure that your precious Inazuma... Stop! I order you! And you! Filthy rats! All of you! You are the enemy of eternity. But as the victor, I acknowledge your honor. Therefore, I shall allow you to leave Tenshukaku alive.
And just like that, Senora is gone. After we leave Tenshukaku with a strange feeling taking into our gut, the air feels thick and it's hard to move quickly. Thoughts keep pouring in our head and we even black out at times. Something is wrong with the air. It feels electric, almost as if the plane of Euthymia is leaking out into the world. Then we finally make it out, where we are greeted by the resistance to get into this fight.
There will always be those who dare to brave the lightning's glow.
So we meet again.
We see Ai and we fight her only to fail, but we remember the Omamori when Mihoyo comes in clutch with their badass cutscenes.
Dear me, aren't you cutting it rather close? Hmm?
Miko, this was your doing?
Now. Don't forget who taught you how to place your consciousness in objects. Surely you don't think your ambition alone is enough to shake A's will, do you? Though you alone are here, they too have ambitions, which they long since entrusted to you. Now then, close your eyes.
I hope we can abolish the Vision Hunt Decree.
We finish off the ride-in where she accepts defeat, and we end up talking things out since Migo is there with us too. The quest concludes with us talking with Yae about the Raiden, where she tells us more about the Electro Archon. First, the Gnosis of the Raiden hasn't been in her possession for a while, and that it was traded by Yae to Scaramouche to save us. And we also learned that Scaramouche was a prototype puppet to be Ai's body. She originally was going to discard the prototype, but then she thought it was cruel, so in the end she let him free and sealed his power. After which the Fatui took an interest in him, and he is now known as the Balladeer or Scaramouche. And now, transitioning into the story quest of Ai, we find that after the events in the Archon quest, that Ai is taking the time to rest and self-reflect on what happened. But there's still turmoil within the Tenryou Commission, and the storm around Inazuma is shrinking and may cause the people of Inazuma many issues. But hey, we can just talk to Ai and see if we can figure things out. We talk to Ai to get a pass, and then they finally let us talk to Ai. We convince Ai that it's a good idea to step out of Tenshukaku and walk around Inazuma with us. She notices that the whole area looks different from what she remembers, which is to be expected. She tries a new combination of food called dango milk and even takes some time to read the latest light novels. We even go and take a picture of her. This whole time, she has chased eternity. She sees the things that are still changing. So many new things that pique her interest that she doesn't understand, like pictures and novels. The wonderful taste of dango milk, all the things that she's enjoying are new. Which puts her into a certain dilemma with eternity and change.
Take a look! Here's the photo we took of you!
Wow. This is astonishing. Is it some kind of magic? It seems to be another copy of me. So, the one in this photo, are you sure it isn't me? If it's not me, then why does she look exactly like me? And if she is me, then who am I?
Okay, that's way above Paimon's head. Over to you, Traveler. Hey, that's right! Do you think the Shogun counts as you?
Of course I do. It was never my intention to place control of Inazuma into anybody else's hands.
So then, who does that make you, here and now?
Well, I'm still me. There is no doubt about that. My existence... I think I understand. I am me. There is only one of me, but I can exist in many different forms. It's not important what form I exist in. The Shogun, for example, is one of my forms of existence. The question of whether or not she is me is not determined by any of her components. Everything I have encountered on this journey with you has been from beyond my existing sphere of knowledge. You've seen a lot of my ignorant side today. Maybe you can't tell, but all this has challenged my understanding of things. Based on what I have seen today, I am forced to accept that Inazuma is a completely different place from the one I remember. But it would be incorrect to conclude from this that the Inazuma of today is no longer Inazuma.
But we get interrupted by Ipe looking for his master, who went for negotiations for who would take over the Tenryou Commission for the time being. We head over to the scheduled site with the Raiden, and we come across Ronin that were hired as guards to the area. Something doesn't seem right here. We find the head of the other clan as well as Kujou Kamaji, the master of Ipe. They were forcing him to sign a false document under pressure in order to look good in the eyes of the Shogun to be the next head of the Tenryou Commission. But then this happens.
I believe I now understand the situation. You are quite mistaken if you think your dispute is of any interest to me. Descendant of the Takatsukasa clan, you wish to become the new Tenryou Commissioner. Do I understand this correctly?
Well, yes, of course. It's the eternal pursuit of everyone in the Tenryou Commission to offer our lives in service of the almighty Shogun.
Then the situation is not as complicated as you seem to have made it. After all, I am the one who appoints the Tenryou Commissioner. The process is quite simple. Anyone who can beat me in a duel becomes the new commissioner. The first Tenryou commissioner demonstrated his will with the blade in his hand. That is why the title has been passed down within the Kujou clan ever since. If you want me to appoint a new clan, then naturally, there must first be a new duel.
I will challenge you, Almighty Shogun.
What?
Descendant of the Kujou clan. Regrettably, even if you win against me, it cannot atone for the wrongs committed under the Kujou name.
I realize that. I don't stand a chance of winning against you anyway. I know full well that the mistakes my father made ought to spell the end of the Kujou clan's legacy in the Tenryou Commission. Even when I was executing the Vision Hunt decree, I had doubts about my father's decisions. I knew that what I was doing was wrong. But that was as far as I went. I doubted, and I ruminated. I understood the situation perfectly well, but I took no action, and I didn't save a single person. I accept the Kujou clan's decline as punishment for my deeds. I can't even say that I failed to prevent it, because in order to fail, you have to have at least tried. Just as the Shogun said, a forefather of mine once showed his will with his sword. Then please, let me, Kujou Kamaji, end the story of the Kujou clan in the same way that it began. This is my last chance to do something.
This is patently meaningless. But I accept. Come forward. The Kujou clan's honor was forged with courage, tempered with integrity, and shines beyond life and death. Show me whether your blade can bear the weight of your name.
Ready to learn, Almighty Shogun.
Another anomaly in eternity. Nevertheless, it appears that the Kujou honor still courses through your veins.
After the events that take place, we talk with Ai where she mentions that the Kujou clan will not stay in charge, but they will still be the head until further notice. Throughout this trip, it seems like she realized that things can stay the same, but at the end of the day, there's always a change that may happen. Because although the Inazuma today is vastly different from the Inazuma from before, it would be foolish to think that it is no longer Inazuma. Sounds like something I said in a previous video. The irony in all of this is that in search for absolute eternity, the god herself couldn't do anything else but change. The tragedy of Baal. I think that the only way for Baal to get through this is to realize that the only thing that is eternal is change. Looks like the Shogun has come to terms with the idea of change being eternal, and though it seems as if not a lot happened in terms of action in her quest, it was probably my favorite story quest so far. It showed us Ai and how she is and how she thinks. The progression of her character in this story was great and refreshing to see. The last two Archons seemed to have still been set on their own ways, and yet she kept an open mind. But with the Archon quest, some information in the end was a little rushed for me. I kinda wanted to see which chess piece the Gnosis of Electro was, and I wish they were a little more in depth about the origins of Scaramouche, though I think they may be saving that for Chapter 2 or maybe the future, cause MiHoYo did say they have a 10-year story plan. But we do get a bit more information about how delusions are made, although the way they are making them in Inazuma seems to be the unrefined version, since it was made of crystal ore from Inazuma. But this seems like a very long video already, and I think I'll end it here. Maybe we'll talk more on an update of what we know about delusions and gnosis in my next video. But that's all I have for this video. If you liked the video, then like it, and comment below what you think about it. Subscribe to my channel for more Genshin Impact lore and possibly other things in the future. I want to thank my Patreon as always for supporting me, and you too can support me further by subscribing to my Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and that's it for me. Ad Astra, Abyssos.